Hello, community. It's finally time. I have been postponing this video for a very, very long time because I always think of new things I want to talk about. But we can always just make a second video, and it's about time I just get this done. I want to do a video talking about everything I would change in League of Legends. I really love League of Legends. This isn't some kind of spiteful video. In fact, I think conceptually, League is the perfect game. Conceptually. But of course, like everyone else, I have things I would change. And I do think I am quite good at identifying what players enjoy in games, what players don't enjoy in games, and what players enjoy in games but makes the game worse, or what players don't enjoy in games but makes the game better. And we're going to discuss some of those things in this video. I am going to completely avoid talking about balance. Balance is a very separate beast, something I'm also not very good at, probably. I would like to talk about the real design choices of League of Legends and things I would do differently therein. The first, probably 90% of the video is going to be things I think would objectively be better for the enjoyment of the game for the whole community. And then the last 10% or so of the video is things I want that you guys might not like, but I won't care. So take that section with some salt. It's not that important of a section, but it is to me. Fuck you guys. That's just what I want. That being said, let me get started. I have a lot of different sections here. I'm going to start with the in-game UI. First thing, Minimap. The Minimap. A long time ago, I had a discussion with the lead designer of League of Legends. Now he is not lead designer anymore. And I proposed to him, right now you can choose between being able to click on the minimap or the not being able to click on the minimap, that nothing happens if you click there. And I told him the only reason to turn off clicking on minimap is because you don't want that you accidentally click there while trying to run away. And then you walk somewhere else, right? With that in mind, it is objectively better if instead of, or as well, but I think already instead of, click on minimap not doing anything, you should click through the minimap on the ground below. That way, when you accidentally click on it while running away, at least you still get your click, or instead of still running the wrong direction or something. So that would be better, and I would like that as an option, or just instead of the other one. That designer, the lead designer of League at the time, told me he really liked that idea and that he put it on the list. It's one of the few times he got a good idea, he said, from someone. So I feel like, I'm not alone in this, and this would be great. The next suggestion is something that is not for everyone, but also something that would be an option to select. So I don't think it hurts if that was in the game. I have played League now. I'm 1 month away from no-lifing this game for 13 years. And when I look at the scoreboard, I still expect my team to be on the left, no matter what side I'm playing on. I always expect in a video game on a scoreboard, my team is on the left or at the top. And in League, you can make the scoreboard like mirror differently, but your team is always on the side of blue or red, and I don't want that. And when I ask around, I do get a lot of agreement on this. A lot of my friends feel the same way. They would prefer if their team was always on the left. It would be a cool option. Just as an option. If you are like, fuck that sounds shit, Civ, that's fine, because it wouldn't be forced on you. Next up, the shop. The new shop. The new shop is quite nice. I'm a huge fan of items this season, mostly. In particularly, I think the animated icons are super cool. I never thought of that. I would have never thought of that, and it's genius. But the new shop has a few things that are weird. One thing, I would like to make 2 suggestions. The first suggestion is something you guys are familiar with. I think if you have a custom item page for a champion, and the target of that page is really only 1 or let's say 5 champions, it should by default open that page first when you open the shop in a new match. Right now it doesn't do that, and you have to click on that page, and I think unnecessary clicks are annoying. Within the topic of unnecessary clicks are annoying, I don't like in the new shop that when I click on all items, it doesn't show me all items. It shows me items that are recommended for my class, which is weird because by default you are already in a different section of the shop that is items that are recommended for your class. So now the first tab and the second tab have the same functionality by default and pretty much show you the same items. I would definitely prefer if when I click on all items, it actually shows me all items. It is what I want 9 out of 10 times I go there. And it would also be less confusing to, even old players, but also new players. You expect it to show you all items. Next up, there are a lot of champions now that are unstoppable or have something that's unstoppable. And I think some clarity is missing there. Next up, I want a clear universal indicator for when something is unstoppable. Back in the day with Olafald, it was always quite clear to me. He turns like into a red shade. He roars. It was really reminding of other video games when stuff becomes unstoppable. Warriors or Bestial Wrath, stuff like that. But now in League, there is so much stuff that becomes unstoppable, and there's no clear visual indicator. I'm sure the visual effects team can make it beautiful and make it much more clear. Next point, Grasp. I love Grasp. Grasp is awesome. Grasp is the coolest thing we have in League in years. However, when you play Cho'Gath and you get stacks from your ult, you get a little icon and it says a number like, 2, and that means you have 2 stacks now. And when you mouse over, it shows how much health you gain in total. And that is really satisfying and cool. Grasp, however, right now shows by default by default without mouse over, it shows like how much damage you've done with it or something. And then when you mouse over, it shows everything, I think, except how much, I might be wrong, how much health. It doesn't show how much health in total you have gained. It just shows the stack number. I think by default, so without mouse over, the number shown should be like Cho'Gath, the amount of stacks you have. It is more fun to see. Or it should show how much health in total you have gained. Not how much damage you did with it, or whatever that is. Right now it's whack. One of those 2 things, please. Next topic. Oh yeah. In the past few years, I noticed passives were getting deleted from time to time. Maybe this has been a couple years by now, but Riot does not like passive abilities anymore. This is, of course, understandable. The argument that passives are more boring than actives it makes a lot of sense. But I disagree. I think passives offer you a choice that you normally don't have. For example, you have champions like Pantheon, where when you level up, you're really just picking what ability should now do more damage, and it's all kind of the same thing. It's part of the same burst. Then maybe you have champs like Zac, where you get to choose a bit. Do I want to jump further, or do I want to do more damage with W? Theoretically, you have a bit more of a choice there. But when a champ has a passive, I find you are offered the greatest choice. Do I, like, is shit going on all the time? Do I want a stronger Teemo Poison Dart passively? Or do I want a stronger burst damage? I'm not saying every champ should have a passive, but I think they are a niche that deserves to exist because they can be a lot of fun to a lot of people, me included. I like passives. Next, you guys might want to sit down for this one. Top lane. Top lane is an island. It is far away. I think top lane should be, maybe just a very little bit, but I think top lane should be closer to mid lane. I think if theoretically, this is just right now, I'm not suggesting we do this. Imagine there were 20 different versions of the map where top lane is a tiny bit closer to mid. Maybe just cut the corner, maybe as a whole, tiny bit closer. I highly doubt that top lane as it is now would be the best one. I would move it a tiny bit closer. Maybe even restructure that whole area of the map. I'm sure cool shit is possible, but I think it makes sense to finally say, fuck the symmetry, move it closer. Next. The next segment is mostly stuff about the client. This isn't going to be me saying, I want a new client. It is productive stuff in here. There's productive stuff in here. Don't worry, Riot. First, I want to talk about player behavior. And I really like this section. I really thought this one through. I think nowadays people are quite toxic in League. Of course, this has been talked about a lot. There's the famous Voyboy video. And why people are more toxic or not. There's a lot of discussion there. But I do think Riot is not doing enough. I have something that I think will help a lot. It's not the ultimate solution, of course, but it will definitely help. I would turn off ranked queue by default and make it so people unlock it by running a quick test with their computer to see if their PC is fast enough and if their internet is good enough. Just a quick note, I obviously meant here that this test, you only do it once for your machine, like maybe only once every half year, once a year. And I realized there are ways to cheat that system, especially in terms of the internet speed, but that's besides the point right now. After that, I would also take ranked away. So they are already introduced to the fact ranked is something that is disabled by default with that PC test. And after that, when the player, the new player shows bad behavior, even if it's not that intense, right away, we turn off ranked queue to really help set the standard that ranked is not to be taken for granted. The ranked queue will be turned off for them. They can turn it on immediately again. It's just a warning. They get a warning message. Hey, don't do that again. Don't do that. After that, when they keep behaving like that, we turn ranked queue off for longer amounts of time. This solution is a combination of two things games commonly do. Other games sometimes turn off ranked queue as a punishment. And other games I have seen, like Age of Empires 2, you turn on ranked with a PC test. I truly think this is a beautiful two-in-one-stone solution. Two birds with one stone solution to really help set that standard. Ranked is not to be taken for granted. And to introduce players to the concept, it could be turned off. It will help. And I think we are in a situation where anything that helps should be considered. Next up. I will admit this next point, I haven't thought about it that long, but I can't see why it wouldn't be better. Instead of trading champions in Champ Select, trading spots. Even already, like before picking champions or during Select, trading spots would make it much easier for people to pick their champions without getting in those ugly situations like, oh, what should I pick for you? Do you want sack? Do you have sack? Oh fuck, do you not have sack? It gets a bit messy. I don't see why this wouldn't be better, but I will admit I didn't think that long about this one. Next point, one for the weebs. We still don't have Japanese voices. This is something I have talked about with the audio team at Riot, and they told me numerous times over the years, yes, that's on the list. At this point, I want to believe them because there's a lot of anime-related shit going on in League, but it's been years and it's still not here. It should be higher on the list. There's a lot of weebs playing, and in their defense, Japanese voices are extremely emotive, great, and it would be perfect for League. They already exist. And yeah, those Ari devs really get me through my day. So I would like that. Next up, a bit of a petty point. I promise the rest of the video won't be this petty. When I'm scrolling through my champions and I scroll really far down, I check what's going on with a champ. And then I want to keep checking further. It resets the scroll back to the top, and that's annoying. It's annoying. Right, fix it. Come on. Next up, when I'm looking through chromas, they are grayed out even though I'm trying to check out the colors. It's annoying. And then you click on one to see the color and you get a smaller picture instead of a bigger picture. It's annoying. Thank you. Next point. This point is something maybe I should have put at the end of the video. Some people will probably disagree with this, but I think it is incredible. I am a little bit biased as a streamer for this one, probably, though. In Valorant, you can queue anonymously. In Valorant, you can queue in a way that people who are not in your party as you queue, so not in your pre-main, not your buddies, other people will see you as the name of your champion. They will not see your account name. You will be anonymous. I tried this in Valorant. I enjoyed it a lot. It would, of course, help streamers a lot against ghosting and similar issues. But I also found it really takes toxicity. Like a common argument against this, I think, is people saying, oh, people would be more toxic. But I feel like people are less toxic when they are anonymous because you are not defending your name. You're not defending your street credibility. And it would probably even reduce toxic behavior in that way. When someone is accused of playing bad, they don't feel the need to act like it was on purpose and stuff like that. I think this is an incredible thing in Valorant. And I realize this is probably hard to put in the ancient League of Legends code, but I would like it very much. One counter-argument Riot gave me, or well, it wasn't really Riot, it was someone who happens to work for Riot that I happened to talk to it about. But he said, oh, but that would fuck up. No, he didn't say fuck up. He was very polite. He said that would mess up websites like League of Graphs and OPGG, those websites. To which my reply was, I think those websites have no business doing anything before your game starts. It really impedes on the beautiful simplicity of the game. And I don't like that. I would, yeah, those websites are wonderful to see your total stats afterwards and all that, but don't do that. Next up, I'm really excited about this topic that I'm doing next. This was almost a separate video many times. I have really held this one back. My changes for ARAM. I love ARAM. My friends love ARAM. I have a lot of friends that exclusively play ARAM, and I think I have changes for ARAM that would make ARAM maybe a bit more balanced, but especially way more fun in many, many ways. And I'm really excited to talk about this. First, I'll mention how I think it could be a bit better balanced, which is not very important. And this solution could be inserted in a very light way instead of completely. Let me tell you right away. I sound like those YouTubers that do like a 5-minute intro and then say, let's get right into it. Let me tell you right away. Tiers. Right now, Riot in ARAM nerfs champions depending on how strong they are in ARAM. I'm sure we've all seen it, that you get like percentage nerfs here and there. This means Riot knows how OP champions are for ARAM. They have that knowledge. What I would like is that champions are placed in, let's say, 3 or 5 tiers that decides, maybe only 4, doesn't matter, that says how strong that champion is. So, you say Nidalee, tier 4. Clear language. Pyke, tier 20. Fuck Pyke, actually. Just get rid of him in ARAM. So when the game starts, you're in Champ Select. Let's say the left team gets tiers 2, 3, 1, 2, right? It then takes that information and makes sure the second team gets the same tiers or close to it. And also the rerolls are those tiers shared. This would mean you still get a completely random set of champions, but it makes sure the tiers are somewhat balanced. Of course, this doesn't mean every game is going to be balanced. Some champions combo really well. It will never be perfectly balanced. But I do think this would help a bit. And it could be inserted in a light way. Next. Now we're getting to 2 points I like the most. When ARAM was new, double champions were not possible. It was never done. However, nowadays, we have stuff like one for all. We know now League can commit to allowing double champions. I think if ARAM allowed double champions to be rolled, so randomly, oh shit, our game has 2 UDers, that would be very exciting. And it would make ARAM games extremely unique. Because it would, I think, maybe 1 in 3 games, suddenly, oh, we have 2 of this champ. I think that would be extremely exciting. I'm sure some of you right now are in the back of your mind, I don't want to play against 2 Karthuses. But, the chance of a specific champ happening double would, of course, be extremely tiny. And if it became a problem, you could decide, oh, you know what? Karthus has a much lower chance of appearing double than other champs. I think this change is way more exciting than people might realize. You would get into really unique situations. You would get really rare games, like people posting on websites like Reddit, like, holy shit, I can't believe the setup these 2 teams got this game. It would make ARAM extremely unique. And at the same time, this could work with the previous point where you make sure the tiers are somewhat balanced. So I would really enjoy this. This would make ARAM games so much more unique and fun. And I can't wait to see what would come out of it. Next. Now, this point, some people will say, Siv, what the fuck? This is still about ARAM, by the way. You guys are going to be like, what the fuck? We all know ranked ARAM would suck. It wouldn't be... That's not what ARAM is for. That being said, 5v5 ARAM with teams would be fun. I would bring back the teams as we had them back in the day. A very long time ago in League, you could create a team for ranked. You could give it a name, pick a picture, stuff like that. Quite similar to Clash now. And invite your buddies in the team and then occasionally play 5v5 with it. I would put exactly that in ARAM. I would introduce 5v5 ranked without solo queue, because that's not what ARAM is about. It wouldn't work in solo queue. ARAM is a place where people often make friends. This would motivate that even more. ARAM would definitely be a place where people also try to find these teams then. It would be very fun to be on Discord with the boys and play some ranked try-hard ARAM with your troll team that you created. This would be hilarious, and I would enjoy it extremely deeply. I would like this so much. Because there are, ways to be a bit try-hard in your approach to ARAM, and 5v5 could facilitate that more than more than solo queue ever could. Last point of ARAM, I want mastery tokens back in ARAM. Leveling champions is an incredible amount of fun in League of Legends. And by that I mean leveling them in your account to level 7. And in ARAM, you cannot collect master tokens. Like I said, a lot of people play exclusively ARAM, more people than you might think. Or well, I guess Riot knows the data, I don't. I don't like that those people are excluded from that system, essentially. They cannot reach level 7. And it also is not really abusable. Like, you can't consistently get a champ that you want in ARAM to get mastery points for them. So I think it's harmless and a lot of fun. And it would also feel really rewarding. I would love farming ARAM for those tokens on completely random champs. That would be so much fun. I don't like that was taken away. Because, you know, I do think it used to be there. I would bring that back. It would make ARAM even more fun. So ARAM, we have the balanced tiers, double champs, 5v5 ranked, and mastery tokens. That's some good ARAM. That's some good ARAM. Moving up next, slightly on topic still, special map rotation. Occasionally Ra does special events, special maps. My Discord, I asked them about this. They said we would like this to change every week. Every week, a different one. Another solution that I think exists, not saying that's necessarily better, but I've experienced it in the past and it was a lot of fun, this is a bit weird. I would call it flash modes, and it would change every 2 hours. This would create more of an opportunistic, exciting, curious type of situation where you're like, oh, what's going on? Oh, shit, let's do that. It was a lot of fun in other games when the maps change every 2 hours or the modes change every 2 hours. I would consider that an alternative option as well. But I'm fine with weekly changes. Then, moving on to the actual special maps. And I'm a little bit invested in this one. 1v1 and 2v2 Magma Chamber. A long time ago, we had the Magma Chamber. It was mostly shown at stuff like All-Stars. It was a special 2v2 mode. 1v1 also exists, but 2v2 is sick. Sick. Where you have to be the first team to get 100 minions or destroy 2 towers or get 2 kills. I don't know if it was 200 minions. No, it's 100 minions. If you did any of those things, you win. There were 3 different victory conditions. This was an incredible amount of fun. It really caused for... There were many ways to try and get that victory, to set your team up for it. I remember me and my buddy would go AP Nessus with AP Morgana and try to just continuously burn down the lane and put pressure. We had so much fun in that. And even though we had it for a short time, and players only got to try the mode in the ARAM map, we didn't actually get Magma Chamber. It was incredibly popular. It was the most fun I ever had in League of Legends. By far. It was an incredible way to practice laning as well. Quick 1v1s if you have 10 minutes. And Riot shut it down. I had a rumor from the inside at the time that it was shut down because of the server loads, which is understandable. Normally you have like 10 people in a server for 30 minutes. And then suddenly you have, 2 people in a server for 10 minutes. That's like 15 times more servers. And I was told the server load was simply too much. Riot's official stance was that it wasn't popular enough, which I deeply felt was false. Not the best moment for me. I definitely thought that was not the reason, because everyone was obsessed with this in the week it was out. It was incredible. So I would bring that back big time. Although I would like to say, and this probably doesn't matter at this point, because they would have to make a new map, right? Magma Chamber was a long time ago. It probably doesn't fit the standards anymore. Dare I suggest, just fuck the lava magma shit. It's not comfy. Just make it like a nice garden in Ionia or something. A nice, like a Japanese garden. It's chill. It's nice. Not lava, man. It's not comfy. Next, Dominion. I'm really performing some necromancy here. Dominion. It's been gone for quite a while. Another special mode. This is actually a funny topic for me, because at the time, I already wanted to talk about how to fix Dominion, And I actually talked about how to fix Dominion with rioters in LA when I was at the office there. Because at the time, for those who are uninitiated, we had Dominion. It was a mode. It was basically domination from shooters where you capture zones and then you get points for your zones. You win if you have the most points at the end. Maybe Arafi Bassin. People are familiar with that. It was like that. But it was a bit of it ended up being a total brawler map. The strategy was a bit impeded by how much of a brawler map it became. And when I discussed this with Riot, when I proposed my solution, I got the idea. They kind of agreed. They didn't disagree, and not just out of politeness, but they did say, well, they basically said it is what it is. Like, people are using it as a brawler map now, and we don't want to change what people are getting out of it anymore. Nowadays, though, Dominion is fucking gone. So I think that totally validates my solution again. My solution that I proposed to Riot at the time was the map needs to be twice or almost twice as big. The reason strategy in Dominion didn't work was because you would capture a point and leave, and then within 5 or 10 seconds, any enemy could go be at that point again. This really reduced the value of the capture zones and made it just way more of a brawler. If the map was way bigger, this wouldn't be the case, and the zones would have way more value. Also, obviously, Dominion, really old. If you released it now, it would need a visual revamp. So making it twice as big, you can, do the models again over anyway. All right. Dominion, fixed, covered. You're welcome. Let's go next. Oh yeah, okay. Skins. The skins segment. I want to start with something that's a little bit salty. This one, there's starting with a little bit of salt here. I'm sorry, Riot. A very long time ago, I believe these were the 2009 limited edition skins. I bought some myself. I had most favorite Snow Bunny Nidalee, Santa Zillion. I had the Vancouver Mumu, ugly as hell. But, I was very attached to my Snow Bunny Nidalee. And these skins were unique, never to be sold again. Under that stance, they were sold to us. Under that stance, we gave Riot money. And this was important money, because this was, I believe, the first time people really gave Riot a lot of money. Skins were relatively new. And this was the first time they did these limited skins. And I assume that's, I think that's a safe assumption that that's when they suddenly made a lot of money. Those players got fucked over because all those skins were thrown back in the shop again. I think it's understandable to an extent that Riot, they had to take a bit of a look at their situation. They have a successful game going on. What do we want? We don't want, and they decided we do not want skins. They decided we want people to be able to get these skins. And I understand that decision can be made. However, nowadays, there is a beautiful solution to make up for fucking those players over all those years ago. Now we have chromas, and chromas Riot seems to be quite happy about to make them one time only. Now, of course, this wouldn't affect many players. We're talking about a very small minority of players that got, fucked over back in the day. But this is like the one true black stain in the history of Riot that I have experienced. And I would feel great if that got, resolved. So I assume most of you guys understood where I was going with this, but I would give everyone who had one of those old skins back then a unique chroma. Or an icon or something like that. Right now, all we have is 2 really ugly stripes on the loading screen that look like we didn't pay for the art on the internet picture. It doesn't look good at all. I would appreciate that chroma. Next up, this is maybe also a bit of a beating a dead horse topic, but I'll keep it short. I feel like skin lines now sometimes are a bit uninspired. As I'm speaking, we just got the new cowboy skins. They are not called that. And for example, there's like the Leona one. And I'm thinking, why isn't that Rel who at least has the horse? Or it came out with a Varys, and that didn't make sense either. I don't see the reason for that Varys skin to exist. He doesn't have a gun. There's nothing really clicking in my mind where I'm like, oh yeah, with that skin line, he does that. What a cowboy, it makes sense. It feels really uninspired and random that certain champions are included in certain skin lines now. When I say I would like something that clicks more, for example, a skin I thought of when Mordekaiser rework came out, Gladiator Mordekaiser. You know the Gladiator skin line? I think Riven and Draven are in there. I would like Gladiator Mordekaiser, and when he ults someone, a massive Colosseum pops up around the circle you're fighting in, and you can hear like a crowd cheer. And you're in a Gladiator circle, a Colosseum around it. Kino. Perfect. Best skin ever. You're welcome, okay? That one's free, Riot. That's what we want. We want skins that make sense, that makes, yeah. All right, you got it. Next topic. Items. Very exciting. I do want to say, in general, I love the items now. I think Mythics are genius. And there's a lot of beautiful design possible within Mythics that I'm sure we're going to see over the coming years. That being said, Hullbreaker sucks ass. I fucking hate Hullbreaker. Hullbreaker feels like a designer watched a replay of old school Hotshot GG doing a kick-ass backdoor, the crowd's freaking out, everyone is surprised, holy shit, I can't believe he found that opportunity to do that backdoor, and the designer thought, you know what would make this even cooler? If this happened every single fucking game, completely enforced embedded within the build. It puts a total chokehold on the other top laner. It's horrible, and it completely misses the point of what was fun and exciting about backdoors. Or split pushes, sorry. Not back, yeah, maybe same thing. I think I made my point there. Fuck Hullbreaker. Next. This is about Hourglass, but it's a bit more about fight interrupters in general, including stuff like Akali's smoke. I don't like when fights get interrupted for an extremely long time, in particularly Akali's smoke, but this kind of goes to Hourglass as well. And one thing I also don't like about Hourglass, and I realize this is approaching the balance topic, but I think this is about Riot's mindset about something here more so than the balance. Whenever Riot would want to balance Hourglass, they would probably mess with the numbers of how many stats it gives, stuff like that. They seem very attached to that beautiful full 2-second time. I would like Riot to explore stuff like making Hourglass a 1.7, 1.8, 1.9 duration. Fuck the full 2 seconds. I think maybe a tiny bit shorter would be nice. And I just don't want Riot to be attached to that full 2-second amount, I guess. Also, shout out to my viewers. They said, fuck the mini Hourglass, the free one. But, you know, to me, that stuff is balance related and not what this video is about. And if I'm completely honest, I don't mind it that much. Next, in the items category, I have Rod of Ages. Woo! Woo! Rod of Ages! I painted this. Sometimes items get deleted. Sometimes it makes sense. I think this time it didn't. I feel like Rod of Ages would make for an amazing and beautiful mythic. If anything, it would be the most fun item to design a mythic out of. You could make it, you know, have those stats over time and then say, items don't give stats anymore. It's just the Rod of Ages giving stats over time. Or you could say all items after Rod of Ages give stats over time. There's quite a lot possible here. And I don't understand why it's gone. I really thought it was also a very unique playstyle, a very unique side to League that is now gone. I think it deserves to be there. Next up, champion changes. So I have a list of champion changes here that I propose. The first section of this is stuff that I think anyone can agree with. Just objective, fun stuff. And then at the end is, of course, the fucking rant after I have won you guys over. All right. First, Ezreal. I want Riot to release an Ezreal evil twin. I am tired of Riot trying to balance AP and AD Ezreal. Ezreal was released originally as an AP champion fully. AP Ezreal is now mostly dead. I would really like, and I think it makes sense lore-wise as well, Ezreal is a total Indiana Jones, that he somehow, with some fucking expedition, creates an evil twin out of himself. And the evil twin is AP Ezreal. Fully balanced to be AP Ezreal, how he was and how he always will be. And then the old AP, the Ezreal as you had him now, you can balance him as AD Ezreal to Riot's full delight. I think it makes sense. It would be fun as hell. And yeah, that's what I want. Next, Lucian. I think AD carries are the center of League of Legends. They are what the game should be balanced around. In my view, I would always balance League around AD carries. And I think AD carries shouldn't have dashes and jumps when they don't need them. However, Lucian, of course, needs his dash. It makes sense because when he ults, he needs his dash during the ult. What I would like to propose: put Lucian's dash inside of his ult when you press it again. And then he doesn't have his dash willy-nilly, like when he gets jumped and stuff. It's just in his ult for his ult. And then with that ability that got freed up, you can do something super cool. Everybody wins. Qiyana. I feel the Lucian thing I didn't feel that strongly about. The Qiyana, I have a Qiyana change that I feel very strongly about. I think this must happen. And I actually have thought this is something that's been on my mind since the day she was released. Qiyana has a hoop. It should be a... No, I'm joking. Qiyana has a hoop. And she has cool hoop abilities. And she can pick an element with another ability. When Qiyana picks an element, she does a stupid minigame where she picks it from nearby her, like the ground, the water, the wall, shit like that. What I propose, the same ability, it still picks your element, but it will now work differently. Instead of picking it from the environment, you spin the hoop once. It is a hoop after all. You spin the hoop and it puts you in the next element. One element per click. So a bit different from Twisted Fate's card toggle. So you click once, it goes to the next element. You click again, it goes to the next element. And when you do a full lap, so let's say you started at water and you end at water, you do a full lap with the hoop. You spin it many times on your hip. It gets a bonus effect. It is a bit stronger. For a short amount of time or something. I shouldn't have added or something. That makes me sound way less confident about it. But yeah, I think that would be 10 times more fun. It would be more controllable. And it would not be a stupid minigame anymore. So I would definitely prefer that. I hate minigames on Champions. Next up. Oh yeah, I like this one a lot. Warwick. Warwick can smell where people are. When I play Warwick top, like most Warwicks, and someone in the bot lane goes low health, a red trill appears. Or someone really far away. Low health, I get a red trill. In my top lane, I don't see where that trill is going right away. So I have to then go look, oh, where is this? Is this mid lane? Where is this going? Because it could be maybe someone really close to me, right? What I propose is, when I watch like movies sometimes or documentaries about dogs, they often try to visualize how the dogs smell stuff and then they show different colors. I would like if the Warwick sniff shows colors similar to Oriana's ball indicator. When Oriana knows her balls are far away, It's like red when Oriana has the ball close by, it's green or something like that. I would do the exact same thing to Warwick's sniffs. So when someone is almost dead really far away, you get a red line. When someone's dead really close or something, it becomes yellow. It would really communicate the situation better to the Warwick player, and it makes sense thematically. I have one more thing about the Warwick. This is just me being tilted as a Warwick player. I don't want my ult to start way behind me. I don't want to ult someone there when I'm aiming there. Just real quick. Sorry about that one. Next, another thing I feel extremely strongly about. Get ready for this one. Janna Q. Janna was reworked recently. And before the rework, man, that was the best day of my life. They said, we're going to rework Janna, and we're going to make Janna all about her Q again, as God intended. This was a beautiful day for me, because I missed playing Janna with focusing on my Q as support. I also missed playing Janna mid with Q, because that was a lot of fun. Janna Qs are sick. But as a consequence of balance, Jannas over the years have been getting used to her E being the strongest. The rework came, and first, Riot told on Twitter, players were not interested in the power now being in Q. We're putting it back in her E. This tilted me a little bit. This is not a case of them being careful, like Riot has said many times after the Aatrox rework alienated Aatrox players. This is not like that. Janna Q was how she was originally. And the E got picked as a consequence of bad balance. So, of course, players that have been playing Janna over the past few years now are used to the E. They don't want it on the Q. But that they should not be considered. Sounds harsh, but true. This is how it was supposed to be. Bring it back. With that out of the way, there is something that tilted me even more. That all the Janna players I just offended will agree with. So I'm winning you guys back. Riot said numerous times, we're doing Janna, what's that called? Quality of life improvements in that same patch. Janna quality of life improvements. Oh, we're going to do a little bit more quality of life improvements. The quality of it will be better. Now, as a Janna player, this could only mean one thing. In the past few years playing Janna, every single fucking time I do a tornado, and I mean every single time, I ping where that tornado is going for my AD carry, and consequentially for the entire team that has nothing to do with that tornado. The top laner has to hear a Janna ping every single 10 seconds because I need to show my AD carry where that tornado is going. Janna players want, and yes, I speak for all of us, an indicator for the teammates where I'm aiming that tornado. I don't care if it's a dotted line. I don't care how you do it. My teammates need to see where my tornado is going. I shouldn't have to ping it and keep bothering teammates that have nothing to do with it, that are nowhere near that. It's just bothering teammates for no reason. That is the only thing Janna players wanted in terms of quality of life. It is the only thing they could have done, and it wasn't in the patch. Give it. Do it. It's the one thing you could have done, and you didn't do it. This Janna patch sucked. All you did was make the Q go 10 times too fast. This wasn't supposed to be a video where I'm flaming. So I will stop now. I made my point. Wholesome video is still intact. It's still wholesome. Next up. This is maybe petty, but I feel strongly about this. Sion and Seraph have abilities. Sion Q, Seraph, the long poke. The art on the ground is whack. And by art on the ground, I mean those red lines where you see the hitbox. The corners of both of those abilities are drawn as if you don't get hit there, but you do. And I feel like artists were like, oh, this will look cool if I draw it like this. But it's just fucking with the game. Please show the full hitbox in the line art of those abilities. Thank you. Next up, Varus. In the same patch that made assassins go crazy with the invisibility items and all that, in that very same patch, Varus' ult was made way slower. His one line of defense against assassins was taken away when assassins were buffed. It made Varus really weak, and to fix that, Riot decided to up Varus' other numbers by a lot. I don't like that. I think that ult should be a bit faster, especially considering how important that ult is to him. And it's now completely unreliable. This is a bit of a balance issue in a way. Maybe I am not 100% educated on this, but as someone who plays a shit ton of Varus, it's not fun to have such an unreliable ultimate. I would fix it or rework it or remake it something. Next champion, Rek'Sai. When I was informed Rek'Sai is a girl, I was mind blown. I would not have guessed that. But apparently see, I'm already doing it. I said she is. Now, the reason I bring this up is because Rek'Sai is called an insect queen. And insect queens are awesome. Insect queens are awesome in video games. They do cool queen shit. They have workers. They do dope stuff. Rek'Sai's abilities would totally allow for this dope stuff. He has an ability where he hits stuff around him. It could be done by around her. Holy shit. Rek'Sai does shit where she hits stuff around her. And even Rek'Sai's passive where she gathers rage and then can spend that rage to heal herself. That could be like a bit like the Bard minions behind him, but little insects. Instead of a rage bar, you get more insect babies that you can then later consume for health or whatever. I would really like if somehow Rek'Sai was shown more insect queen stuff. Partially because I think League of Legends champions are beautifully designed. They are very soulful and extremely consistently soulful. They are really beautiful. But I think Rek'Sai is definitely at the bottom of that list. Rek'Sai feels a little bit soulless. And making her more evidently a queen with dope insect queen stuff would do a lot for me. It would be really cool. I'm not like asking for lipstick and boobs or something. You know what I mean? I'm really asking for dope insect queen shit. Next up, Aphelios. That's not a cornflakes brand. That is a champion. But no one knows what he does. I want to say, Aphelios, he has his own UI, and that is super cool. I would like to see more of that in the future. I think that is the coolest thing ever. I never thought of that myself, and I love that Riot did that. That being said, no one knows what Aphelios does 2 weeks after having mained him. It is integral for League of Legends that new players can identify what others do fast, especially when we are approaching 200 fucking champions. If a new player is fighting Anivia, he will know exactly what Anivia does within minutes. Aphelios, never. If there were a lot of champs like Aphelios, we would never get new players. It really hurts in that way. So for this one-off, I think that's okay. It's not okay. But no more, please. Like that. He kind of reminds me as an attempt at doing something like Invoker in Dota. But I feel like with Invoker, it is much more clear. Oh shit, massive meteorite. The abilities are way more evident and way more learnable as an enemy. Like, oh, he can do those things. Whereas Aphelios is a really mixed bag. It's difficult to see what's going on. Don't like him. I'm approaching the rage zone here. I'm approaching the big topic. I'm approaching the big topic of champion design here. High mobility creep. I have a lot to say here, even though it's a bit of a beaten dead horse. Or at least I wish I could say it was. It is a live horse that is growing very much. It's now a 12 feet tall horse, and it's a problem. is a big deal. I think Riot does not respect enough when something is not fun to play against, or with, for that matter. Riot places too much value on, oh, this is fun to play, without really considering it's ruining the game for everyone else, which is obviously extremely important. If 9 people pick something they like to play, they're happy. 1 person of those 10 picks something that's not fun to play against, it's ruined. I believe League of Legends is now, as it is now, more fun than it has ever been. Except, also, more than ever, someone can pick something that will ruin the whole game. And that is not necessary. And it is fixable, for the most part. I would like to explain my point of view with a few things here. My first point is that when something is game-breaking, and I think doesn't fit in the game, completely ruins matches, that is not the same thing as something is overpowered. I can say something is completely taking the game hostage, completely ruining the match, and completely broken without it being OP. So I don't like when people say, oh, if you think Kane is so broken, why don't you play him? Why don't you get the free challenger with him then? See how you like it. That's not what I mean. Luckily, to make you guys understand my point of view, I, Sivhd, have designed a champion. I have designed a champion that is the most broken piece of shit to have ever been in League. And yet he has exactly 50% win rate. To make you guys understand my point of view, my champion is called Button Man. Button Man. And Button Man is very special. He has truly a fan base that loves his unique playstyle. Button Man cannot leave spawn. Button Man stays in spawn. In fact, Button Man does nothing. The team is left 4v5. Button Man doesn't do anything. The only thing Button Man does is he has a Q that can be only activated when your Nexus is under attack. And this Q has a chance to make the enemy Nexus explode instantly. The chance of that happening is exactly the chance that makes up for how high your chance to win is 4v5. Which I believe is about 8%. So this, I didn't do the math, but I'm sure you can imagine. Let's say it's about, 40% chance. And I'm not, well, I don't think math works the way that it would be 42. But, yeah, let's say 40% chance. 40% chance to instantly blow up the enemy Nexus when yours is under attack. This champion could very easily be balanced to have exactly 50% win rate. Exactly. And yet, losing to it would feel pretty bullshit, wouldn't it? You would feel like nothing you did mattered. You would feel disrespected. You would feel like, hey, I completely shit on that bot lane that he's supposed to be in, and yet he is the reason I lost. Which sounds familiar somehow. Game-breaking champions are a real problem. I think League of Legends had rules that were never really written, but that all champions kind of abided by. All champions kind of abided by these rules. Respecting distance and not having insane mobility, and respecting trees, boundaries, obstacles, are what allows League of Legends to be the fun strategic game that it is. The more you start disrespecting distance, mobility, obstacles, the less you can call it a good strategic game. And that is really important, because strategy in the gameplay and in the game mode is what makes the difference between something like Battle Right, a game with a fantastic combat system that people simply can't play very long because they will get bored without a good strategic game mode. It is what I would like to make the comparison which is a bit of a far-fetched comparison, but I think you'll understand where I'm coming from at the end, to Call of Duty. Call of Duty made dope games for a long time. Boots on the ground. You are a sniper. Or perhaps you have a rifle. You are lying in a corner somewhere. There's a wall here. You know you're safe behind you. You're in a strategic position. And you know, okay, with this lineup, this is going to be good. And then later, Call of Duty released games where everyone had fucking jetpacks, floating low grav, teleporting, crazy shits. And you would be in that same camp spot, or same strategic position, as they call it. But now people fly over the top and fuck you up. These Call of Duty games were not popular. People did not like strategy getting ruined that way in Call of Duty. It was not fun. And now after that, Call of Duty again is making boots on the ground games without all that stupid bullshit. And people like that more. I would like to propose that Kane is the stupid Call of Duty games. Okay? Kane is the biggest failure in game design in League of Legends. He should definitely not exist. He needs to be reworked Sion style. Just completely burn him fucking down. The way he moves through walls disrespects strategy in League of Legends in extreme amounts. And that's not even where he ends being bullshit. That champion has no business being in League of Legends. Rework him fully, please. Next point. A bit more directly about the high mobility. This one is probably a bit more apt. Being high mobility is relative. If everyone is just walking without jumps and you have a jump, then you are considered very high mobility. And then being that champion is a lot of fun. You will feel, oh, I am way faster than everyone else, and therefore I am having a good time. It feels good to be Spider-Man. However, Riot identified this and was like, wow, people like our new Spider-Man champion. Let's make more of those. And now we have reached a point where you are in games where sometimes everyone is Spider-Man. And like I said, high mobility is relative. When everyone is Spider-Man, no one is Spider-Man. And you're just left with a way messier game. There are no mobility difference between a million different Spider-Man, but they are jumping all over the fucking place. The high mobility creep is a real problem that really, really needs to be addressed. This is something we have been warning for over 10 years, probably by now. And it is reaching points that are problematic. I hope with my whole heart that in the future there will be a main director on League of Legends that will not only stop the mobility creep, but try to reduce it quite a bit. The next champion I would like to discuss within the topic of not fun to play against is Yuumi. I play a shitload of Yuumi. I deeply enjoy playing Yuumi. I think Yuumi even has things going for her that people don't fully appreciate. Like, if you are really... There is actually quite a high skill ceiling on her, even though anyone can play her. There's a lot to do if you really want to. That being said, she is the worst champ to play against ever. And she breaks a rule. Remember those rules I mentioned? She breaks a rule in the game that I think is important. And I find that rule: if I shit on my enemy in lane, I don't want that enemy to become the problem late game or mid game. If I completely fuck that guy up, he should not be the reason we are losing 5 minutes later. This is true for almost everyone except Yuumi. No matter how hard you stomp that bot lane, Yuumi can and will absolutely be the reason you are losing 5 minutes later when she starts sitting on the top laner or the jungler. that is not cool. That is a big rule for me, and I think that is just wrong. And I don't know what the solution for Yuumi is beyond fully reworking her or not making her a buffer anymore, maybe. Not making her a healer anymore. I don't know what to do. But there is a real problem there. And I would probably disable her until she has been turned into a complete and total mage that cannot heal or cannot give movement, something along those lines. Another thing I want to say about Yuumi, or well, it relates to her, but not entirely, is I think AD assassins, and by that I mean high mobility AD assassins, Yone, Yasuo, stuff like that, especially the higher mobility ones, they are impossible to balance. So this is not me suggesting a balance. I'm suggesting they are impossible to balance. They give up, like let's say normally you have a champ that is this strong and this fast, and then when you make a champion twice as fast, you have to reduce the strength, of course. And with tanks, that works. With mages, that works. You can take away AP scaling. But with AD assassins, that doesn't really work because they will always have their auto attack. They will buy AD. And I think it will be relatable when I say when you die, maybe you kill the enemy Yone twice, but then when you die to him, it will feel like you have given him 3 kills. Just the power spike is insane. And I think the higher you make that mobility, the more impossible it becomes to truly balance it. Because all you can do is just really weaken that champ to the point that your team is like, oh fuck, we have the Yasuo that's going to go 0-10. So your team is unhappy. Or they get a couple kills and then the enemy team has to deal with a God of War. None of these situations are ideal. And I do not believe AD assassins should have become a class as represented as they are. I never minded Talon, but it's been taken quite far with how many there are now to how overrepresented they are. Especially considering they were never fun to play against. I find this comparable to Yuumi now, because Yuumi is also a champ that people really like to play, but a lot of people do not like to play with her, and especially not against her. And yet Yuumi has that player base that very specifically wants to only play Yuumi because of how unique she is. And Yasuo and stuff were the same, and that's why Riot made so many more AD assassins. Imagine Riot now says, we're gonna make 5 more Yuumis in the next couple years, because people who like Yuumi really only like that playstyle. How would that make you feel? I think it would make people feel sad. People don't like playing against Yuumi. Maybe this was a bit too much to talk about for no reason. But that's how I view AD assassins. Like, why are there so many now? They were not fun to play against. And I don't want that to happen with Yuumi either. Maybe that's why Yuumis, if anything, rework Yuumi. Don't create another problem like that. But yeah, I hope. So actually, this is the end of the segment of all the changes that I think are actually really important and good for the game. This is the end of the changes I propose that I think are objectively better for everyone. I realize in the end I went a bit off-road when discussing Yuumi and AD assassins and that piece of shit game who shouldn't exist. Xenon, what have you done? Now we are getting to an interesting segment. The segment of shit I want that you guys will probably disagree with. So take this with some salt. That's not how you say it, right? Take it with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of salt. And this is just for me. But maybe you will agree, who knows? First, ranked resets between seasons. You have to go get your elo again. I don't like that. To me, ranked is where I theoretically should go if I want to have the most accurate, high quality game of League of Legends. with people around my elo. Resetting everyone's rank every season directly has a negative effect on that singular goal of ranked to me. Like when I brought this up to Riot, they told me, well, actually, that doesn't really happen because everyone gets brought down the same amount. This is, of course, a bad argument because not everyone starts playing again the same amount and at the same time. Some people will grind 20 games on the first day. Some people won't be there until 2 weeks later. It does make it messier for the single reason that you guys supposedly like to do the grind again. I personally also don't like it because I don't play that much ranked. I haven't really played much ranked ever, aside from maybe in Taiwan. And I don't like that when I'm finally kind of getting somewhere, it gets fucking reset. I don't want that. All right. Second point, which is you might have to sit down for this one even more. But I think I would like this. I don't want MMR to exist in low elo. I think below diamond, MMR should not exist. Perhaps introduce a little bit of it in platinum, like a slight effect. But anywhere below that, I think it should be flat gains and flat losses. And if you have a win streak, it can still give more. Like, oh, you have 3 wins in a row, here, have a bit extra. Oh, you have 3 losses in a row, here, lose a bit extra. But I think MMR should not exist in lower elos. Especially the way MMR tries to identify where to place people that are still fluctuating in skill level so rapidly. It should not exist in low elos, is my opinion. Again, I would like to remind you, you are now in the segment of the video about shit I like that I don't know if would be objectively better for everyone. So if I was the CEO, everything before the segment I would absolutely do. This stuff, maybe I wouldn't do because maybe all of you guys would hate it. You know what I mean? This is just what I would like. All right. I do have a little speed round here for the end. Just little things. Rel. Rel is soulful. Rel is awesome. I love Rel forever. But I don't like that Rel has an ability that she can only use when teammates are nearby. There are several champions like this that are really locked into the support role because they can only do that ability when someone's nearby. I think abilities should always be castable. There should be a solo laner way to cast those abilities. That's more fun. Next, I miss old Katarina. Again, this is about me. I miss old Katarina. I understood why she was reworked because it was not fun to play against her. But now we have Kayn and Yone, and that justifies anything. So Katarina deserves to be back. Next, I miss old Nidalee. I miss how much damage the spear did, and especially I miss running backwards after throwing it. I thought that was a fun mechanic. I understood when Riot nerfed Nidalee because they said it's not fun to get sniped from that far away. However, now we have Zoe. So, it's back on the table. Heimer. Release Heimerdinger was as close to a Dota 2 Champion League ever had. It felt really good and fun to build your turrets and then upgrade your turrets. Now he doesn't have that anymore, of course. Maybe it will be fun if when Heimer ults his turret, it's the same effect as it is now, maybe only a tiny bit weaker. And then afterwards, it leaves a lasting permanent upgrade that also prevents that turret from ever going down like AFK when Heimer's not nearby. I think that could be fun. I don't know. This is really a bit of a brainstorm segment. Skarner. When you pick Skarner, I love Skarner, but I don't pick him. That sentence went everywhere. I love Skarner, but I do not pick Skarner anymore because when I pick Skarner, he poops minigames all over the map. Fuck that. Remove the poop minigame on the map with the little scout area. It's horrible. Next, Seraphine. When Seraphine was released, opinions were very divided. Some people loved to play her. Some people hated her guts and still do very much. I personally don't mind. I like playing Seraphine. I enjoyed making videos where Seraphine was my left hand when we played Varus with our right hand. That was a lot of fun. That being said, Seraphine visually looks like she is in alpha. The way Seraphine moves on her, I want to call it her board, like a snowboard, makes no sense. It's like someone is T-posing on top of something that is spinning really fast. It looks weird. Like when she moves around and she makes a fast turn, she doesn't show any energy relating to that. To bring up Rel again, when Rel makes a turn, she and her steed lean into that direction a bit. That's what Seraphine needs. Seraphine needs to lean for turns. The way she is now, and this sounds like I'm nitpicking, I realize that, but it truly looked like she was still an alpha. Like the way she just, it just looks so horrible. I really didn't like that. Next, Echo. Echo to me is a champion that on paper sounds fucking amazing. Going back in time, great concepts, and I actually like a lot of things about Echo. However, I think Echo is a little bit too unfun to play against, and it feels unfair at times. I would propose maybe some kind of Eloy ghost situation, like when Eloy pulls someone's ghosts out, when he rewinds his ult, so you can still slap it a bit. Maybe something like that. I didn't think this one through. Again, this is the messy end segment that I don't feel strongly about. But yeah. Next. Oh, actually, I feel pretty strong about what's coming next. Sometimes you're playing Warwick. You're baiting your enemy. You're now low HP. He's a bit higher HP. You pop your barrier. You start slapping him. You win. You totally baited him. Good job. You used a combination of abilities to bait your enemy into thinking you would win. And you did it. That feels good. Sett has this full combo in one ability. Sett has what I call the bazooka ability, where he starts, firing in that tri-cone shape. And he gets shield. It is just that full gotcha thing in one ability. That is bad game design. I think that is bad game design. That is a full combo, not supposed to be one ability. Also, and I realize it's supposed to be like the One Punch Man thing where the whole area behind it gets blown up. But it visually never made sense to me. And I think he should pull out a bazooka when he does that ability. Thank you. My last and final point. There are 3 Sunfires in the game, and none of them stack. Come on. This is for me. Come on. Give me my stack Sunfire. Yeah. That was actually everything I had to say. Again, the first segments about what did we cover? Minimap click-through, scoreboard on left, grasp counter. There was a lot, top lane closer, play behavior. We covered a lot. I'm very excited about ARAM changes, the ones I proposed. I think that would be really amazing. 2v2 mode, all of that. I guess I said a lot. I would also not mind that Ezreal Evil Twin. I actually talk about how to fix games. Like League doesn't need, like, I would call this video improving on League in how I see it. On stream, we often talk about like how to fix games that are just messed up, that fucked up. I wouldn't mind doing that here as well, because that would be a lot heavier of a topic, right? How to fix a game that has truly messed up. It's more interesting than how I would fix something that we're already enjoying. So I wouldn't mind making more videos of this sort. I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. I haven't done this before. It's very different. We could make a part 2 one day. I wouldn't force it though. Like if I feel strongly about stuff, we could. I don't expect Riot to, act on my video or anything. But I think it's good to talk about these things. We all love the game. And it's good to, it's healthy to have these discussions. And put things on paper. Who knows? Maybe it will help with something. Thank you for watching. This video took a lot of, idea prep time for me. So I hope it was enjoyable. And I hope you guys look forward to all kinds of videos from me. Because I want to show my personal side more often. And perhaps even do a room tour soon. Yep. Okay, thank you. And don't forget to join my Discord. There is a link below the video and in the comments. Join my Discord channel to catch my streams, videos, stuff like that.